My name is Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. I live at 3102 Center Hill Road, Edgar, Mississippi, 38841. I'm under attack. People are driving worms through me from a remote location. So remote control parasites. I can also hear their voices. They're very hostile, demeaning, negative. They keep threatening me and my family, premeditating our deaths, and trying to come up with some kind of narrative in which says that I'm to blame. This is what I know. There appears to be more space in the universe than humans can see. There are 11 dimensions. It's like there's more there's another place inside of the particles in which we are made of. So to explain it easily, I'm just going to call it 11 dimensions because that's what it is. We have biology in these extra dimensions. We utilize this biology to have an afterlife. So I just got assaulted. So Scientology is the practice of utilizing this biology before you die. You remove it from yourself in a manner that resembles death cleave, that resembles you dying. So you remove it from yourself and you utilize technology and techniques to turn this biology into a vehicle. So an extra dimensional vehicle. This technology that they utilize allows for several different abilities. One, it allows them to create a hive mind. So it interfaces with our neurology and links everyone to a computer. They put sensors and devices on our brain and throughout our nervous system, even on our sexual organs. This allows Scientologists the ability to communicate with each other on a very complex level. We can hear each other's thoughts. We can see each other's visual processes. We can feel each other's emotions. And this computer stimulates thought patterns. It can stimulate individual neurons. It also allows them to have sexual activities in each other. This technology also allows for surrogate making. So they have the ability to drive other organisms in any dimension. They can drive humans, animals, insects, worms. This technology also elevates neurochemistry and it artificially stimulates brain tissue. So a large percentage of the people practicing Scientology have become criminal. They can go anywhere in the world and no one can see what they're doing. They can interact with our biologies. They can give us worms or viruses. Criminal activity among these people is rampant. Behaviors such as home invasion, stalking, assault, biological theft, assault with a deadly weapon, weapons of mass destruction, intellectual property theft, identity theft, slavery, human trafficking, kidnapping, destruction of private property. They do things like embezzlement, stock market fraud. They practice Scientology on people without their knowledge or consent. So Scientology is only supposed to be afforded to people like Grand Masters, the highest degree of Freemasons and Skull and Bones, the highest degree Scientologists, and special agents of the government. But over the past few decades, more and more people are gaining access to Scientology's technology. People mostly find this technology through their employment. So there are institutions like media companies, marketing companies, internet companies, social media, tech companies, big businesses, politicians, government agencies like the CIA, the FBI, the military. Yes, I just got hit. My spinal column. They did it through the extra dimensions. Preservision did. So they mainly use this technology for communication. In the marketing companies, they're practicing Scientology among the population on civilians in an attempt to invade their privacy and to control their brain, to control their neurology or their psychology. They can do things like invade a person's privacy and invade their thoughts to try to get a better picture of what these people are buying. And then they try to stimulate their brain in a way to control impulses and desires in an attempt to increase consumerism. The government is also using this technology mainly for communication. They also use it for surveillance technology, and they also use it to control people's behavior. The military is using it for communication purposes and surrogate making purposes. So there are two main Scientology companies in the U.S. Preservision and UMAS. They are criminal organizations. They're supposed to help people practice Scientology. You're supposed to go to these companies, and they will take your extra dimensions and turn them into vehicles that you can drive through outer space, through the upper dimensions. But they are also practicing Scientology on the public, people that are unaware. These people seek out persons of interest or people they are attracted to. They make surrogates out of people, fill people's upper dimensions, and create a vehicle for that suit their own purposes, so they can drive themselves. Famous people and people with authority fetch a higher price, so they sell these biologies on the black market. They sell people's body parts. So we are supposedly still connected to this biology, even after it's removed from us. So even if it's removed from us, we still experience everything this biology goes through. So humus and preservision are still in biologies for people. They are also helping people practice Scientology. This is one aspect of Scientology. They have they have a building or a place where they store everyone's biology. So 13 years ago, I was kidnapped by these people. I was a political and environmental activist on Facebook. I had a large following. I also wrote literature. I write a lot. So I wrote a lot on Facebook. I inspired a lot of people. I gave people a lot of ideas. I fell into a clique of authors, literatures on Earth, people that write literature on Earth, especially people writing for magazines or bloggers. This became apparent whenever they installed all of my gear. So they eventually assimilated me into a hive mind. That's how I met all these people. That's how I know who is practicing Scientology on Earth. Some of these people are hostile. They're not smart, or they're not intelligent or moral. They like to harass people, bully people, pick on them. Eventually, I started yelling at them, "Get away from me, leave." So they turned the devices off, or they modified it in a way which they could still hear me, but I couldn't hear them. But it became apparent that the rest of the world was invading my privacy. People were stealing my ideas, my intellectual property, and they would say things just to pick on me or harass me every day, especially radio DJs, media companies. He's running because he just assaulted me. What dimension? Fourth dimension. They assaulted my brain last night while I slept. They assaulted my spinal column this morning, torturing me. Then they victim shamed me, saying it's my fault. I was kidnapped so several people could merge with my mind. They were attracted to my psychology, my ability to articulate, my ability to create. I have a very high level of literary intelligence. I write works of literature like Crazy Bird Comics, the Environmental Creation Agency, Divine Currency, literature that talks about saving the planet. They literally tried to merge my mind with other people. And then these Scientologists, they literally removed my extra dimensional brains and tried to utilize it as a transplant for themselves. They sold my upper dimensional biology to people. Started assaulting me right off the bat, right after they put me in a hive. They realized it wasn't working out. They did things like ran cows out in front of me while I was driving to work one morning. Every time I get a new vehicle, they would do something like this. They would interfere with my job. They would assault me while I was working, make me feel bad, sick. There's like 20 instances of me calling 911 or calling the FBI at my place of employment. Yes, I want to press charges for me and my family and my community. They did this to me, my neighbors, my family, my coworkers, and my community. They even do this to the local police, people in the government, anybody affiliated with me in any way. They get practiced on. They practice Scientology on in an attempt to control their behavior, change their outlook on the situation, keep me stressed out. That you keep trying to pass a bad narrative, a false narrative, in which says that I'm a bad person. That gives them the right to do this to me. And then a lot of them are religious zealots. It's like a cult. They're calling me the savior of the universe. They're going to martyr me, take my intellectual property, and save the planet. They're victim shaming me. They're saying it's my fault. So this technology, it elevates their neurochemistry and artificially stimulates brain tissue. They have committed a lot of crimes against me and other people, and they are conditioned to practice Scientology on people. So that is literally and create surrogates. So that is literally the act of removing body parts from people. That is what their job is. They consider that their employment. They get paid to do that. They do it over and over and over again. They think they can say it's my fault enough that makes it so. So this artificial stimulation of their brain tissue and the elevation of their neurochemistry, plus their conditioning of creating surrogates and removing body parts and committing crimes against people, it's created psychological issues within these people. They're psychotic and delusional. They're petty, irritable, jealous, greedy, machoistic. Please get away from me. So the human genome produces an 11-dimensional humanoid with horns on our head. If we are healthy and in a healthy environment, we literally fly into outer space when we die. They call it raising. It's the place inside of our particles, sort of a turning around action or action. You grab what energy you can from your environment, including yourself, and you pull it into yourself, into your Anunnaki. That is what a healthy biology affords us in the afterlife. It's supposed to happen automatically. We're supposed to do it ourselves. Now, if this biology is modified in any way, it takes on a more alien presence. So they lose their horns and their myelin sheath. They take on a more alien presence, alien form. In Scientology, they'll remove the whole thing from themselves, and they will cleave it every 3 dimensions. Every 3 dimensions, they will cut their biology among the dimensional lines, and they'll get a new biology. So Scientology allows them to have 3 or 4 biologies. They also remove people's brain tissue and they put it on on a shelf at Yuma's and Preservision. That's what I've seen. And they have devices in everybody's brain. Well, I don't know if we're connected. Someone just made an argument about they don't think we're connected. They think it's the devices making the connection for us with our extra dimension. Look, we can put you on this brain piece, but it's like there's an entanglement. So if our biology is removed from us, no matter where at in the universe it goes, it still experiences energy transfer. Say, like, if they removed my biology and took it in outer space or put it in humans or preservation, and I drank some water, water would flow through that biology. Say I put a hat on, my extra dimensional biology would be wearing a hat. It's like the space time around us is entangled. So they like to stick objects inside of us. They torture me badly. It started out as assimilation, it turned into assault. Now it's a snuff film. They play games where one person's trying to hurt me and another person's trying to help me. So when people practice Scientology and they cleave their biologies among the dimensional lines, they wind up with 3 or 4 biologies. They will modify these biologies and turn them into um, alien looking. They merge their biologies with other body parts from other species, like they use insects, lizards, worms. So some people will get a lizard person. They'll use the skin of a lizard or the upper dimensions of a lizard. What they're trying to do is make themselves whole again. So you remove the upper few dimensions from your biology. They will take the upper few dimensions from a lizard, and they will put it on top of you. Turn yourself into a lizard person. They do the same thing with insects and worms. They can literally take your brainstem and put it inside of a worm and allow you to drive that worm around. And these Scientologists with the surrogate making abilities, they can experience your biology. They can use you for, they can drive you around. They can put their brainstem inside of your biology, drive it around. And with their technology, they can even experience your neurology. They can experience your thought patterns, your emotional states. Someone assimilated me, stole my biology. So it's like a whole bunch of people are, they covet my biology. They think they're going to gain my intellectual prowess or my special abilities by using my biology as transplants and for surrogate making purposes. Take a perfectly good Anunnaki or blue blood, they chop it into pieces and make little lizard people and bug people and worms. So Scientology came to us in the 50s and 60s. And that's whenever people started seeing aliens on this planet. They also can grow biologies. Our upper dimensions come with special abilities. We have powerful eyesight. We can see in 11 dimensions down to the molecular level. And we can also manipulate biology. We can help them grow, develop features. Anunnakis can even, they can manipulate genetic structure. They can modify genetics on the fly. In ancient times, that's what this ability was used for. That's why we are Anunnakis. Our predecessors or other species that came before us helped us develop into Anunnakis. So they're abusing this ability for Scientology. Heaven has turned into a graveyard and a bunch of surrogates. So these Scientologists are growing insectoids and worms for their own personal use as surrogates. They also steal biologies from humans and other species, surrogate making, and they allow other Scientologists to drive these organisms. And that's what heaven has become. It's supposed to be for dead people. It's supposed to be an environment for dead people to live. Scientology is taking over heaven. They're abusing their powers. They're trying to manipulate and control the human race, and they're taking over heaven for their own purposes. To them, it's a playground. So they like to stick stuff inside it because it shows up in my extra dimensions. Some of my biology is down in a hole or they have it trapped because we experience our extra dimensions even after it's removed from us. And when we die, we wake up in this biology. They have tried to send me to hell. They're trying to make me experience suffering in the afterlife, pain, electricity, uh, claustrophobia, seeing horrible things. So they like to stick things in my third dimension. They can show up right here, stick something inside of me, and it shows up in the hole that I'm in. It shows up on my biology, no matter where it's at in the universe. If it has all of its dimensions, it's really fucking the human race. I don't know. They also envision an apocalypse. They want to kill a whole bunch of people. But some of these people drive learns for a living, combat professionals. They want an excuse to do this to a lot of people. Plus, they're rich people. Judging by our last genocide attempt, I don't care who they are or what they do. It's mainly the elderly, our children, and sick people. They're the people that are going to die or get hurt. They can't withstand the assaults you're going to do to them. They can also drive viruses. So, from what I've seen, these people are likely to subject the population to viruses and parasites. They're terrorists. They like to destroy our property in the upper dimensions. Everything has upper dimensions. We need those extra dimensions there so we can interact with our environment properly and process energy properly. So our food needs to be 11 dimensional. Our water needs to be 11 dimensional. Say you have an upper dimensional organism. Say my fist is 11 dimensions. They can come down here and grab my fist and take off the upper dimension. And whatever I'm left with relates to however dimensions they have. They're doing this rampantly to Earth and to the people on Earth. So these Scientologists, once their biology is removed from themselves, they move into outer space. They expand at a different rate than we do here on Earth. They become giant compared to us. So they call themselves God. They're big and we're little. They have magical powers and powerful eyesight. He's using that as an excuse to do this to the population. And a lot of people worship him. We're seeing a cult develop based around Scientology, government officials, and everyone else. Nobody worships this motherfucker. He's got to come down. He's a bane to the human race. So the upper dimensions also transcend time. From our third dimensional point of view, time happens in a linear fashion. So time is linear to us. We see the seconds and the minutes and the hours and the days pass in a linear way. This is not how time is structured. Time happens simultaneously. So the past, the present, and the future happen at the same time. The beginning of the universe and the end of the universe happen simultaneously. And from their perspective, they can see this aspect of reality. They don't see time as linear. They see it as simultaneous. And it appears that modern humans have created our technology, the Scientology tech. Then they went back in time and they started waking people up. So you see, in the past, humans have seen Anunnakis and lizard people and aliens and insectoids. And everywhere that they go, you see temples being built. That is the symbol for Anunnaki. It's actually the all seeing eye. It stands for horns. That's what it appears like. And they've only been up there for 60 years. They're little ones, though. So the closer they are to us, the less they experience this aspect of reality. The more they see time as linear. So when they lose their upper dimensions, on their lower dimensions, they see time as linear. But on their upper dimensions, they see it as simultaneous. Supposed to be little bitty aliens and Anunnakis flying through outer space, helping the human race and life on this planet develop. Instead, they're a bunch of Scientologists up there cutting everybody to pieces. It's what they do for employment. It's what they do for a living. They're trying to victim shame you. Not only do these people have brain damage, they're artificially stimulating their neural tissue. And plus, they're abusing and they're probably asleep. Scientologists access their upper dimensions when they close their eyes or whenever they go to sleep. Some of them have the technology to do it even when they're awake. getting victim shamed again. They harass me constantly while they torture me. They're trying to, some of them are trying to take body parts from my biology and use them as transplants or surrogate making purposes. Some of them are trying to send my biology to hell. Some of them are driving worms through me. Some of them are trying to steal my intellectual property. Now I'm getting yelled at. These people have brain damage and they're on drugs. They're literally missing parts of their brain, plus they're artificially stimulating themselves with drug use and technology. They're victim shaming me constantly. They're saying this is my fault somehow. I was assimilated so people could get close to me, so they could experience my psychology, my thought process. They could watch me write my intellectual property and steal my ideas. Turned into a snuff film because they have spent the last 13 years cutting on me and sticking stuff inside of me, giving me worms. So somehow it's got to be my fault so they can get away with torture and murder, biological theft, intellectual property theft, home invasion, identity fraud, surrogate making. They're artificially stimulating their neural tissue. I have to make these videos to alter their behavior. I'm not trying to blow a whistle or share government secrets or whatever. I'm trying to stop bad things from happening. They have bad psychology. Scientology is supposed to audit people. They're supposed to have psychotherapy and psychoanalysis. This is the free zone. Not only is it the free zone, there are not a lot of good psychologists on the planet, especially not affiliated with this bullshit. Cut people's brain to pieces. First, they see if they have good psychology, then they cut their brain to pieces. Run wires and stuff through them, artificially stimulate them, get them to commit crimes. Every one of them have bad psychology. Say I should have stayed off Facebook. I was young. I wanted to make a difference in society. I wanted to help our government get rid of corruption, try to fix some of our laws. And I like telling stories or inspiring people, helping people come up with ideas. Yeah, I did this for people on social media. So some people decide to take advantage of this. That's why they assimilated me. And they're doing it still to this day. Every little thing I say or think, they write down. They're getting paid a lot of money for it. They've never seen a genius before. They do this shit over and over again. They have artificial stimulation